was originally built in Willow Creek on the Potter's Splay lot. I don't remember how much it costs. I will have to put that in the description for you, but it will be there down in the description. It is a base game only, but it is not a starter. But it is just base game only. And also, I did not use any of the items that we've gotten from the rewards events. So if you don't have any of those, you're good to go. Like if you just started playing Sims today, this one will work fine for you because it doesn't have any of the extra stuff. It's just base game. Now I decided to, well, I thought that I wanted to have the little, that's a garage, that little separate building out front. And I thought I wanted to have it like angled like that. But I decided to change it, and you'll see that here soon, that I do go around and change that to make it not angled. I thought at first that it would be a good way to play with like an angled building because I don't have to worry about furniture in there and the weird angles, but it hid too much of the build in the pictures on the gallery being angled and up there like that. So I decided I wanted to just kind of spin it around and make it normal, and then add like maybe a little overhang going from the garage to those side steps there. And so that's what I'm getting ready to do here in just a moment. You'll see. Yeah, here we go. I wish there had been a way, but since like I built it as an angled build, I couldn't figure out a way, but I wish there had been a way where I could have just picked that up and rotated it so I didn't have to delete it and rebuild it. But maybe that's just user error. Maybe, you know, when you go into the move house, move lot thing, I could have done that. I don't know. I didn't feel like messing with it long enough to find out. So I just deleted it and rebuilt it. And that seemed to work out okay. Typically, I don't like doing base game only builds because I feel so limited. I'll start building and or decorating, and I'll think of something that I want to use, not realizing that it's in a specific pack or kit or something, and I'll get disappointed. But I have to say on this one, I really enjoyed building this one a lot more than I typically do with base game builds. Now I did kind of cheap out a little bit on the landscaping, as far as it's not cheaper as in simoleons, but like as in I put hedges all the way around, which is not something I typically do. But I don't know, it kind of felt appropriate for this one since it had the higher foundation. And honestly, the whole higher foundation thing came from I wasn't getting good screenshot pictures when I was saving it in the gallery. That little garage out there was like hiding most of the house, and so I just kept raising the foundation until it got high enough where you could actually see the house beyond the garage. And it ended up I liked the foundation that high. It kind of gave like kind of a townhouse type vibe without it being a townhouse, and I felt like with it only having the one story instead of being like a 2-story build, which a lot of the other houses in this neighborhood in Willow Creek are 2 stories, so this one just looked kind of short. But with having the taller foundation on it, it kind of made it feel better in this neighborhood. It made it fit in better. I decided for this living room that I wanted to try to embrace the brown and beige vibes which is not me. I love color. I will never be a sad beige mom. I love color way too much. And that is reflected not only in real life in the decorating in my house, but in most of my Sims builds. But I think the more I tried to use the brown and cream and the neutral colors in this living room, the more I liked it. I was also trying to embrace more of a modern decorating vibe, because that's also very much not me. I like retro things. The decorating in my house, like for example, the living room in my house in real life is inspired by the Walt Disney World the Haunted Mansion attraction. So it's a lot of Victorian vibes, and so the little pictures in the molding on the walls is something that I've seen in a lot of TikTok decorating videos that people do. So it seemed like something that I wanted to try. The bedroom. Okay, so first of all, the house is decorated with 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. And I didn't want to do just another kid's room. So that second bedroom that you just saw is either like an adult still living there, or maybe parents still living there, or it's not meant to be the primary room, but it's just another room. It could be a guest bedroom. But I wanted to use the new Pride Day assets that we got. And the first one, the bedroom that I just did, I did it specifically because I liked the color combination. I had already decorated it in teals and blues. And then we got the drop, and I went back and redecorated that. That's why you didn't see much of that in the build. That was mainly just me redecorating that bedroom. But I wanted to specifically use the bed in that color swatch, because I love those colors together so much. And you'll have to forgive me, I don't know what those colors represent. Maybe somebody can let me know. I could probably Google it and find out really quick, but I don't know what those colors represent. But I think that color combination looked so pretty together in that bedroom. But as far as representation, that will be here in the kitchen, where I add the little shelf that has the shirt hanging on it, and that we just got in the prod drop. I'm getting ready to add that here, where I just put that little coat rack. I'm going to get rid of that little coat rack and resize that painting and move it over and add that here. And so as far as representation goes, for me personally, the colors on this are my representation, the pan flag. And I also decided that I was kind of bummed that none of the swatches came with a white wood accent. So I just merged those shelves over top of it to make it what I wanted. I kind of leaned into the white trim in the entire house, because the front door and the back door had white trim, and all the windows had white trim. So I decided to go ahead and continue that with like door frames and the doors and a lot of any type of the wood that I used throughout the whole house, with the exception of the living room, because I wanted to pull those browns in the living room. But the rest of it, I wanted to use the white tone on the wood for those kind of things. And this blue kitchen is not the same color blue as the blue kitchen that I did in the manufactured home build, but yes, I understand. I have an issue. I love a blue kitchen, and I have the tendency to gravitate towards a blue kitchen, a blue house, just blue decorating in general. So unfortunately, that kitchen does look a little similar to the one in the manufactured house build that I did, but it is a different shade of blue, so it's not completely the same. This dining room was originally supposed to be an ensuite bathroom for the primary bedroom. And I decided that I wanted a bigger kitchen. And so that room got scrapped. It got turned into a dining room instead of having the table and chairs just in the kitchen. Instead of having an eat-in kitchen, it got turned into a dining room. And that's how this house ended up being a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house instead of what I had originally intended as it being a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. But it would be somewhat simple to switch that dining room to a bathroom if you wanted an ensuite bathroom. For the primary bedroom, you would just, the way it's set up right now, you'd just be walking through the primary bathroom to get to the primary bedroom. But it would be an easy fix. And I debated with making the little, is that an octagon? That little weird shaped room, I debated on making that a bathroom. But I really liked all of the windows in there. I didn't want to have to cover up those windows that much. And I felt like, for reality's sake, if it were like an actual bathroom, you wouldn't have the curtains open on all of those windows in there. Also, with it being such an odd shape, it didn't lend itself well to being a bathroom. So I decided, much like I do with any other weird shaped nook that I don't know what to do with it, it became an office. So that's how we ended up with less bathrooms than I wanted and a weird little office nook. But I mean, I think it's cute. And I played around a lot with a lot of wallpaper swatches that I don't typically use, especially in these greens. And when I very first put the foyer wallpaper and the dining room wallpaper in, I thought it had more of like a minty green look to it. But then as I started decorating it, it seemed like it was more blue than I thought. So I meant for this house to kind of be green heavy on the inside, but it turned out blue heavy, which I don't know. Maybe subconsciously my builds always do that because blue's my favorite color, and so it ends up blue. But this build's almost finished. There's just the terrain paint is what's left, and then we'll be going into screenshots. And there's not that much terrain paint. Just like there's, I don't know, this one seems like there's not that much landscaping to me just because most of it is the hedges, the bushes. But I guess it did end up with a little bit more landscaping than I thought. I don't know. And then I debated back and forth on between whether this driveway should be gravel or poured concrete. And I think the gravel look just looks a little better than the poured concrete look for this particular build. So that's what I went with. But anywho's, thank you so very much for joining me today. I really, really do appreciate it. And I'll catch you in the next one. Here come the screenshots. Oh, before I leave, I do want to let you know the next video will be kind of special because the next video I will be celebrating that I have finally hit 50 subscribers on YouTube. So watch out for that. It'll be coming next week. I'm getting ready to start editing it now. Here are the screenshots. Download it off the gallery. It has been play tested. As always, no CC, base game only, pixie dusted. See you in the next one. Bye, everybody.